kitty cats, two of them, a solid black kitty cat and a black and white kitty cat. We found them outside. They were living with their little family, kind of like right here behind me, somewhere in this area back here outside. They found a place where they could get, you know, under some like sheathing back behind, be out of the wind, out of the rain. They could all get up in there and snuggle up and be toasty warm. Really nice spot for them. Oh, by the way, that was the same spot that the raccoons had chosen to live in once. We go outside. We happened to discover them. We didn't even know they were there, but we discovered them when they were big enough to get out and go roam around on their own. They were apparently pretty much weaned from their mama. So they were skittish. They didn't want to have anything to do with us. They didn't want to, interact with humans, I guess you could say. But we put a little food out there. I put a little thing out there that maybe we could capture them in or something like that. But they were too smart and too quick. Well, we ended up, after maybe 2 hours of, watching them, taking care of them, feeding them a little bit here and there and stuff like that, that we were able to get close enough and snatch up 2 of them. So we brought in the black one, and the little tiny, looked like the runt, was the little black and white one. The little black and white one is a female, the solid black one is a male. So, me not knowing how or what to name them, and I didn't want to choose their names. I didn't want to be the person to name them. But because one was a boy and the other one was a girl, I called boy, and I called girl, girly. So we ended up with Boi and Gurly. And had them in the house. It took them maybe 3 days to get used to being in the house with us. They liked the food. It took them about 3 days to warm up to us. We fed them well. We kept them dry, warm. We did the cat litter. And, we put them in there and, naturally cats like to get in the cat litter and scratch around because it resembles something outside like dirt or something that they would scratch around and go pee and duty and cover it up. Well, Boi took to it immediately. Well, not immediately, actually. Boi was a problem. He was rebellious and he was wild, right? Well, we took Boi and Gurly outside, out back on the deck, and let them go free. And I let Gurly walk around for a little bit, and I figured, well, Gurly seems like she's the one that wants to wander away. And I really didn't want them to wander away. I wanted Gurly to stay in the house with us. She was really sweet, young, the little tiny runt of a baby. And so I made sure that Gurly couldn't wander away. I let Boi just wander wild, do whatever he wanted to, and I was talking to him while he was out there. And I was telling him that it was his choice. He could go back to his family and live in the wild, or he could come back in the house and live with us. Well, Boi chose to come back in the house. And after choosing to come back in the house, he was a totally different cat, totally different kitten. He warmed up to us. He allowed us to pick him up, to pet him, to snuggle with him, and he took to the cat litter really well. He always went pee and duty in the cat litter. Gurly, on the other hand, was skittish, didn't really want to be picked up very much, didn't want to be touched or pet. And Gurly did not want to use the cat litter. Once in a while, we'd see her. She'd get in there and go pee. Once in a while, we'd see her in there. She'd go pooey. But we found out that Gurly was going around the house and finding things to hide behind and get under and going pooey behind the furniture or under the furniture. And the cat litter was just a little bit too much for us. Gurly going around the house, a little bit too much for us. But we realized that Gurly, even though she was a small runt of a cat, her belly was way too big. Kind of like she was eating way, way too much, but we weren't feeding her any more than we were Boi. Well, we started talking about it and figuring, okay, well, she tends to have diarrhea. She tends to, go in different places where she shouldn't go. To go potty. She tends to stay away from the cat litter for some crazy reason. I haven't figured that out yet. But we found out that she had thrown up a couple of times, and it was like a clear liquid with some blood in it or something. So we figured, okay, I think it's best to get them out of the house. So we got the cat litter out of the house. We cleaned up the house. We went searching, moving furniture. I found places where she'd gone potty under the furniture. I cleaned all that up. I sprayed it, all those areas with this Clorox soapy spray stuff. Let it soak. Cleaned it all up really good. Everything. The house smells tremendously better, by the way. So the cat litter's out of the house. The cats are out of the house. They're out back. It took them a little while. They really, really, really wanted to come back in the house. So every time I'd open the door, to go out there, check on them, or to feed them or something, it was like, boom, that fast, they were trying to get in that door. But we'd feed them outside, so they're like, oh, the food's being taken outside, so they go to where I put their food. Well, I went searching through the bathroom cabinets, and I found some of the liquid dewormer stuff that we'd had from the past that we'd used for a dog or a cat or both or something like that. We still, had most of that liquid in that bottle. And it wasn't very, old. It was still usable, so I shook it up really well. I got one of those cans of soft cat food in a can, and we still had half of that can. So I took that, I put it in their bowl, and I put the liquid worm medicine in with that. And I mixed it in really, really good. And then I divided it out equally. Left half of that in the bowl, and then we had an aluminum pot pan sitting to the side. And I put the other half in that. So I called Gurly and I called Boi, and they came running over, and immediately they found that and just started just chowing down on it. Boi found his and wolfed it down and just ate it quickly. Gurly, she was working on hers, and but when Gurly had come up, she was trying to get through some of the lattice work around the deck, and she got her head and her front paws through, but her gut would not go through. Her gut was that big. But she came over there and she was eating, and I was petting, rubbing their heads and their back and telling them they're good kitty cats and all this and everything. And I reached down and I felt Gurly's belly, and it felt really big and tight. Yet she was acting like she was starving. She was wolfing down that food. And well, my daughter came over today, and she said that to her it looks like Gurly has worms. So we figured, okay, Gurly has worms. My daughter came over. She says she thinks Gurly has worms. Right. So today I fed Gurly and Boi both the food with the dewormer medicine in the food. So tomorrow evening I'll do the same thing. I'll mix up some more of that good, soft, nice canned cat food with the dewormer liquid and put that out there for them. That way they could have that dewormer in their system for over 48 hours, and hopefully they'll be able to, be dewormed and get healthier. And with the cold weather coming around, they've only been out there a few days now, but I can already tell that they're putting on their undercoating of the they got the regular fur, and then they put that undercoating fur underneath their regular fur, and it fills out and it creates a coat on them. And they're already doing that. So I'm going to treat them just like I did Max. Max was our other cat that was older and passed away. I'm going to leave them outside. They're going to be outside cats. And I've made them a nice little box out there with a pillow in it. And they go in there and they snuggle in that box on the pillow. And they're already putting on their coats. They know where their food and their water is. They're learning that outside, they can go pee and pooty anywhere, wherever they want to. Like normal cats that live wild outside. Even though they're not totally house cat or wild cat, they're going to be outside cats. So I'm feeding them like scraps from in the house. We made a turkey just yesterday or the day before, and I was taking some of the fatty stuff off of the turkeys and putting them in a little bowl, and so things like gristle and cartilage, other things that would be easy for them to eat, and things that the cats would have eaten in the wild anyway if they'd caught a bird. And I put that out there, and I divided it out equally between the two. Man, they just loved that. They just gobbled that down. They took it and ate it. So things like that, I can feed them things that will help fatten them up, help them through, the cold weather. And of course, deworming them will help them to be able to live healthy lives. Because if I didn't do the dewormer, they would definitely be very, very unhealthy, and they would not be able to survive out there. So now I believe, their health will be tremendously better, and they're putting on their coats so they'll be fine out there. And I'm feeding them some good food to help fatten them up. So yeah, I think the cats are going to do great. They're just not going to be inside the house, stinking up the house, or using their claws to tear up furniture and stuff like that. They're really sweet little cats, but it just didn't work out inside. But that's also why Max ended up being an outside cat. And after Max got used to being out there, he was like the king of the property. He would get up on top of the house. He'd sit up there and he'd watch and listen. He'd see things. I swear that cat knew. Like whenever I go to the front door, boom, the cat was there. If I walked to the back door, boom, the cat was there. It was like the cat knew everywhere I was inside the house, no matter what. Right? Oh, I almost forgot I had this in my hand. Well, anyway, I'm going to stop talking. I'm going to go ahead and end this video here. But Boi and Gurly. All right, Boi and Gurly are some sweet little cats.